The story of Daddy Yankee. Ramon Luis Ayala Rodriguez, better known to the world as Daddy Yankee, was born on February 3, 1977, in Rio Piedras, Puerto Rico. He grew up in a humble neighborhood, surrounded by music, culture, and challenges that would later shape his life and career. From a very young age, music was part of his environment. His father was a salsa percussionist, and his mother came from a musical family as well. So, it wasn't surprising that rhythm and lyrics became part of who he was. However, music wasn't his first dream. As a child and teenager, Daddy Yankee wanted to become a professional baseball player. He trained hard, stayed disciplined, and truly believed that his future was on the field. In fact, he was so good that he was being scouted by Major League Baseball teams. Everything seemed to be going in that direction. But life had other plans. When he was just 17 years old, his life changed forever. One day, while he was taking a break from recording music in a studio, he was caught in the middle of a street shooting. A stray bullet hit him in the leg. That moment not only ended his dream of becoming a baseball player, but it also forced him to rethink his entire future. The recovery process was long and painful. For months, he had to stay still, unable to move freely. But during that time, something powerful happened. Instead of giving up, he focused completely on music. What once had been a passion became his purpose. During the early 1990s, the music scene in Puerto Rico was evolving. Underground music was growing, influenced by reggae, hip-hop, and Latin sounds. Daddy Yankee started experimenting with these styles, creating a unique sound that would later become known as reggaeton. At that time, reggaeton wasn't mainstream. In fact, it was often criticized and even censored. The lyrics, the style, and the culture around it were seen as controversial. But Daddy Yankee didn't stop. He believed in what he was doing. He began recording mixtapes and collaborating with other local artists. Little by little, his name started to spread in the underground scene. He wasn't famous yet, but he was building something important: identity, style, and consistency. In 1995, he released his first project, No Mercy. It didn't become a massive hit, but it was a step forward. It showed his dedication and his willingness to keep going despite the obstacles. Throughout the late 90s and early 2000s, Daddy Yankee kept working nonstop. He wasn't an overnight success. He spent years improving his flow, writing better lyrics, and understanding the industry. He collaborated with artists like DJ Playero, who played a key role in shaping the reggaeton movement. Then came a turning point. In 2002, he released the album ElCangri.com. This project helped him gain more recognition in Puerto Rico and parts of Latin America. Songs like Latigazo started to get attention, and people began to notice that something big was coming. But the real explosion happened in 2004. That year, Daddy Yankee released the album Barrio Fino, and everything changed. The song Gasolina became a global phenomenon. It wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural moment. Suddenly, reggaeton was everywhere. On the radio, in clubs, on TV, and even in countries where people didn't speak Spanish. Gasolina opened doors that had never been opened before for Latin urban music. Daddy Yankee became an international star. After the massive success of Gasolina, Daddy Yankee's life changed completely. He was no longer just a local artist from Puerto Rico. He had become a global icon. His music was being played all over the world, and people from different cultures were dancing to reggaeton, even if they didn't fully understand the lyrics. But with success came pressure. Many people thought that Gasolina was just a one-time hit and that his fame would fade quickly. The music industry can be tough, especially when artists suddenly become popular. There's always the question, can they do it again? Daddy Yankee was ready to answer that. In 2005, he released the album Barrio Fino and Directo, which included new songs along with live performances. One of the standout tracks was Rompe, a powerful and energetic song that showed he wasn't going anywhere. It became another major hit and proved that he could stay on top. At this point, Daddy Yankee wasn't just making music, he was building a brand. He started collaborating with international artists, expanding his reach even further. He also launched his own record label, giving him more control over his music and business decisions. This was important because he understood that long-term success wasn't just about talent, but also about strategy. As the years went by, reggaeton continued to grow, but it also faced challenges. New artists entered the scene, trends changed, and the industry evolved. Daddy Yankee had to adapt. Instead of staying the same, he experimented with new sounds. He blended reggaeton with hip-hop, dance, and electronic music. This helped him stay relevant while still keeping his original essence. In 2010, he released the album Mundial, followed by Prestige in 2012. These projects included popular songs like Limbo, which became a global dance hit. Once again, people everywhere were moving to his music. But one of the biggest moments of his career came years later, in 2017. That year, Daddy Yankee collaborated with Luis Fonsi on a song called Despacito. At first, no one could have imagined how big it would become. Despacito quickly turned into one of the most successful songs in history. It broke records on streaming platforms, dominated charts worldwide, and introduced Latin music to an even wider audience. The remix featuring Justin Bieber helped the song reach even more listeners. Suddenly, Spanish-language music was at the center of the global music scene. And once again, Daddy Yankee was part of that moment. This success wasn't just luck. It was the result of years of hard work, consistency, and vision. He had been pushing reggaeton forward long before it became mainstream, and now he was seeing the results on a massive scale. Despite all the fame and success, Daddy Yankee remained focused. He continued releasing music, collaborating with new artists, and supporting the growth of the genre. He also became a mentor figure in the industry. Many younger artists looked up to him as a pioneer, the one who helped open the doors for everyone else. His influence could be seen in the new generation of reggaeton and Latin trap artists who were dominating the charts. Then, in 2022, Daddy Yankee made a surprising announcement. He revealed that he would be retiring from music. After more than 3 decades in the industry, he felt that it was time to close this chapter of his life. He announced his final album, Legendary, and a farewell tour called La Última Vuelta. Fans around the world were emotional. For many people, Daddy Yankee's music had been part of their lives for years. His final tour was a celebration of his legacy, a journey through his greatest hits, and the impact he had made on the music world. But his story isn't just about fame, money, or success. It's about resilience. From a young boy with a dream of playing baseball, to a teenager whose life changed in an instant, to a global superstar who helped define an entire genre, Daddy Yankee's journey is a powerful example of determination and passion. He didn't become successful overnight. He built his career step by step, overcoming obstacles and staying true to his vision. And today, even after stepping away from the spotlight, his influence remains stronger than ever. Daddy Yankee is not just an artist. He is a legend. After announcing his retirement, many people thought Daddy Yankee would completely disappear from the public eye. But that wasn't exactly the case. Even though he stepped away from releasing new music regularly, his influence continued to grow. His songs were still being played everywhere, at parties, on the radio, on social media. New generations kept discovering his music, proving that his impact was timeless. But beyond music, Daddy Yankee began focusing more on his personal life and his purpose. Throughout his career, he had always been a private person when it came to his family. He married young and built a strong relationship over the years, something that is not very common in the entertainment industry. For him, family was always a priority, even during the busiest moments of his career. After retirement, he also became more open about his faith and personal beliefs. He started sharing messages about gratitude, discipline, and making good choices in life. For many fans, this was a different side of Daddy Yankee, more calm, reflective, and focused on inspiring others in a new way. At the same time, his business mindset never stopped. He invested in different projects, supported new artists, and continued working behind the scenes. He understood that his role in the industry had changed. He was no longer just the performer on stage. He was now a figure of guidance and experience. One of the most interesting things about Daddy Yankee's story is how he helped shape an entire genre. Before reggaeton became global, it was often misunderstood and even rejected. But artists like him believed in it when no one else did. They created something new, something that represented their culture, their language, and their reality. Today, reggaeton is one of the most popular music genres in the world. And it's impossible to talk about its success without mentioning Daddy Yankee. Many artists who are famous today grew up listening to his music. His style, his energy, and his way of performing influenced thousands of people who later became artists themselves. But his legacy is not only about music. It's about perseverance. Imagine losing your biggest dream at 17 years old. For many people, that would be the end. But for Daddy Yankee, it became the beginning of something even bigger. He turned a difficult moment into an opportunity. He chose to move forward instead of giving up. And that decision changed his life forever. Another important part of his story is discipline. Behind the success, the fame, and the hits, there were years of hard work that people didn't see. Long nights in the studio, constant improvement, learning from mistakes. This is what really built his career. There's also something powerful about how he stayed consistent. Trends changed, music evolved, and new artists appeared, but Daddy Yankee always found a way to adapt without losing his identity. That balance is not easy, and it's one of the reasons why he stayed relevant for so long. As time goes on, his name continues to be mentioned among the greatest artists in Latin music history. Not just because of his hits, but because of his impact. Because of what he represents. Today, when people listen to reggaeton, they are also listening to part of his story. From the streets of Puerto Rico to the biggest stages in the world, Daddy Yankee's journey is a reminder that success doesn't happen by accident. It takes vision, effort, and the courage to keep going even when things don't go as planned. And maybe that's the most important lesson of all. No matter where you come from, no matter what challenges you face, your story is still being written. Just like his once was.
Remember to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, give this video a like, and leave a comment. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.